YouTube, what is good? It is your boy STMXVII back at you again today with another Apex Legends video. And in today's video, guys, we are doing a Apex Legends Ultimate Weapon tier list. And I think you guys will really enjoy this. I had a lot of fun making it. It took me a pretty decent amount of time to actually do it, but hopefully you guys agree with my rankings. If not, let me know what you guys would place in other tiers. Again, this is just my opinion. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything. Just keep in mind, it is my opinion, but I would love to hear your guys' suggestions for moving things around. If you guys do enjoy the video, I'd really appreciate if you have to like, comment, possibly drop a sub if you are new here. I really appreciate all the new support and all the recent support on all my videos, guys. Truly, it means the world to me. Alright, y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Alright, guys. Let's get started on the tier list. We're going to start with D tier. We're just going to go one by one here. So, EVA 8. Don't really find this gun very good. It's only really decent, like at super close range. Even then, other shotguns outclass it. It's just not the greatest weapon overall. Next, charge rifle, D. Mostly only rats use this gun. It's really just a poking weapon, and even then, a lot better poking weapons out there like the wingman, triple take, 30-30, you name it. Thing's just not very good. Wouldn't recommend at all. Next, probably the absolute worst gun in the game. That's the P2020. Basically, absolutely zero use for this gun. It holds no value, like none at all. Even with the hop up, it's not very good. There's so many better options. It's literally just at the very beginning of the game if you need something to help finish off a kill. This would probably be what you would use. But yeah, let's move on to C tier, guys. So we'll move on to C tier, and we are going to find the Mozambique first. I wish the Mozambique didn't fall in C tier. I do enjoy using it. It's just, I know that it's not the greatest weapon in the world. An upside to it, though, is its fantastic range. You can hit for 45 at really decent range, so just keep that in mind. It's pretty decent off rip, too, so. But yeah, there's the Mozam. We got the Devo in C tier. This thing would be higher if you didn't have to have pretty much all the attachments for it to be good. Ballistic players, I would definitely recommend throwing this in your sling, but without all the attachments, I'm gonna have to say it's going to C tier. Next is the Spitfire here. That's gonna go in C tier. The Spitfire's days are behind it, very much so. Still a decent weapon, but nothing close to what it used to be. It kind of just falls in line with the Devo. Like, if you got the attachments, it's pretty decent, but without them, it's pretty mid. So, there's the Spitfire. Next, we have the Rampage. And this thing with the Thermite boost actually probably falls more into B tier. But without it, the slow fire rate kind of just keeps it right alongside the Spitfire. But again, if you do find a Thermite, it does a lot of damage and can down people pretty quickly. So, just keep an eye out for that. The RE45. This could go into B tier for sure with the hop up. Maybe even A tier. It really just depends on the person. But as it stands, it's a pretty decent weapon off drop. It's basically almost like a mini R9. So just keep that in mind. Just doesn't have a lot of ammo, and the damage doesn't really align, if you know what I'm saying. So for right now, we're going to keep it in C. But like I said, with the hop up, could definitely go into B tier. Next, we got the longbow. Longbow used to be really good, but again, there's better weapons out here nowadays. Much rather would have like a sentinel or a creeper, obviously. But yeah, for right now, we're going to keep the longbow right in C tier. Alright, let's move on to B tier. Let me make this very clear. The Havoc with the turbocharger automatically jumps up to A or S for sure. But this is just how it stands. So we're going to keep that in B tier. But trust me, with that hop up, so worth it and such a good gun. And I think in the future, we could see this gun move up even more. So be on the lookout for that. The Car SMG. The reason I have this here is because I feel as if the other SMGs just simply outclass it. It's still a very good weapon, especially like up close. It's going to destroy people. I just think if you run into something like a Volt or an R9, you're just going to get cooked. So we're going to keep it in B tier. Next for B tier is the 3030. This thing is probably about like the definition of middle in the pack. A lot of people might hate me for this pick, but I think this is perfect for the 3030. You'll see in the clips for sure, but I think I'm gonna leave it there. Next is the alternator. This thing, absolute no recoil beam, and very, very, very user friendly, sort of like a SMG version of the R301. And I really, really enjoy the alternator. I think it could be an A tier weapon, but my better judgment tells me to put it in B, just because I feel like, again, it'll get outclassed by something like the Volt or the R9. So I think this is a pretty decent placement for the alternator. The Mastiff, this thing has been completely overpowered before, but now it kind of just finds itself middle of the pack of the shotguns. Still an amazing weapon, and in the right hands can be extremely effective, but it just, for me, doesn't outclass the PK. So we're going to keep that in B. Next, we got the Sentinel. And the Sentinel is very, very good. You can definitely pull off some crazy stuff with the Sentinel, especially if you know what you're doing. It just simply doesn't beat the Kraber out for that point, but definitely beats the longbow. So I think B tier is a solid placement for it. Next, we are going to do the Hemlock. Now, the Hemlock, for me, is okay. It's definitely not anything like compared to the Nemesis or like the Flatline or any of those guns, but it's definitely still a solid option, and I would definitely recommend to try it if you haven't already, especially in the care package with the buff. So I think that'll round out B tier. Let's move on to A. So first gun in A tier, the Volt. The Volt is literally insane. It basically feels like an AR and SMG body. It can do really anything you want it to, and I was definitely going to put it in S tier, but I just simply don't feel like it beats out the R9. Even though it is extremely close, I still think the R9 is just a little bit better, but trust me, that Volt with the strafe speed while ADSing, chef's kiss. Mwah. Alright. Do the triple take. Now, I used to not like the triple take, but after using it, I've found a new appreciation for it. It is extremely effective as a tapping weapon and long range option. You can get some serious damage done, especially if you get a full charge off. I think it hits for like 140 or something stupid like that. So just keep that in mind. Do not underrate the triple take. It is extremely good. Trust me on that. Next, we got the R301. Now, the R301 used to be S tier by far, no questions asked. But after the, more recent nerfs, it sort of just falls along in that A tier. It's still extremely good, has no recoil, user-friendly gun in the game for sure, besides the alternator. So again, still extremely viable, still a great option, just not quite S tier. Next, we got the Prowler. Now, the Prowler in these past 2 seasons has really shown itself as an extremely viable option, and it really does some nice damage, especially if you pair it with something like the Nemesis. It's going to absolutely destroy. A 5-round burst just really takes down armor and takes down opponents extremely fast. So if you haven't really gave the Prowler a chance, I would definitely reconsider. Next, we have the Kraber. The Kraber is very good, and in the right hands it can be extremely destructive. One-shot headshots are no joke, especially in a game like Apex where the TTK is extremely high. If you can be good with the Kraber, trust me, you are going to destroy. Just take my word for that. Next, we got the Bocek. This is another like sort of user-based gun. The Bocek is very good. It doubles as a shotgun too in close range. So if you didn't know that, just try to hit fire in close range and you will get multiple sprays into your opponent, and it can be very effective. And especially at long range, if you're hitting those shots, you're going to get some easy downs. Next up is going to be the G7. I think personally, along with the triple take, this is like the best tap weapon in the game. You're gonna get some easy downs with the G7. It's very, very, very powerful. I would recommend that you use the single fire instead of the double tap, as with the double tap it kind of makes some of the sprays kind of unpredictable and messes up your pace of fire. So I would definitely just keep the single fire on that, and you will see great success. Next is the L-Star. The L-Star is extremely, extremely effective up close and mid. I would stay away from it as long range, sort of treat it like an SMG, especially if you don't have anything else like an R9. This thing can seriously put in some work, and I think it could easily be an S tier, but without its range, I think that's what holds it back and keeps it in A tier. Next, and rounding out A tier, is going to be the Wingman. Classic gun. It's seen a lot. It's been here since the very beginning, but still remains near the top of the list. And people might hate me for not putting it S tier, but I think this is a perfect placing for it. And it's, again, just a classic weapon. Next, guys, and the final tier is going to be, let's start with the Nemesis. This gun just got added recently, and wow, this thing needs a nerf for sure. It's a crutch weapon, and you know, that's basically the definition of it. It just absolutely destroys people. There's no other explanation for it. It's firmly an S tier until it gets nerfed, and even then, I don't know, it might still be an S tier. So yeah, there's the Nemesis. Flatline. This could go down to A, but just for its simplicity of use, high damage, and just amazing mid to long range engagement, it simply falls in S tier, and I think it's a perfect placement for it. But let me know what you guys think. Next, we got the R99, obviously. Fastest TTK in the game. Once you get up close with this thing, it just absolutely destroys people. There's no other explanation that makes sense beyond that. So yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And the final weapon on my list, the PK. Now, the PK is just absolutely ridiculous. It's a great flick weapon. People on keyboard and mouse just absolutely love this thing for that exact reason. It's just a monster of a shotgun and something you need to be using if you aren't already. Alright guys, if you do enjoy my list, let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear from you.